Big exciting news to start your Friday evening as you start the weekend. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. Big developments across the board for second stimulus check, and all stimulus issues as Wall Street looks at the dilemma of what could be coming up next week. Big questions about executive orders, questions about inflation and stimulus, big questions about the stock market and stimulus next week, and big questions about lockdowns and stimulus. As COVID-19 cases today, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday, could be at record numbers of 100,000, where is the stimulus for what we've been going through? And where is the stimulus for what we're about to go through? The good news is we're all here together as a family, and we're going to get through it together. This is Evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad that you joined me on a great night. It's Friday night, and the weather is warmed up here. But across parts of the country, it's getting cold, and COVID-19 cases are starting to rise. But we will get through this together because ultimately the focus is on us and stimulus. I'm so glad you joined me. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do. Go to the front of this channel, subscribe, because it's the best darn community out there. We're 5 hours of programming every day on stimulus. This is the tail end of the programming that started at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right after this is Purple Power, our inspirational stimulus video that'll explain to you how you get through this stimulus pandemic while getting to the other end on top. Also, hit the alert button on the front of this channel so you can alert when a new video goes live. And like this video. It's really helping in the algorithm. Several of our videos are ranking very highly and trending tonight. In this video, I will be going over what you should expect next week. First, next week on executive orders. Next week on inflation and stimulus. Next week on the stock market. And next week on lockdowns. There might be a lot of uncertainty, but we're hoping to get through all this uncertainty and get some answers and get some stimulus, retroactive and going forward as well. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we sit here tonight is that Wall Street is categorically confused, pondered, baffled, and just sort of dumbfounded as much as we are about what's going on with stimulus. And they're saying it very loud and clear, louder than anyone can shout, that we need stimulus for what we've incurred up to now, and we need stimulus for what we're about to go through in the coming months. Here's what's happening tonight. Next week, all eyes will remain on the president, and certainly this weekend, Saturday, which we know what Saturday is with Donald Trump, to potentially get executive orders. Everyone's going to push with the purple power, the followers of this channel, to push to get him to do executive orders. Hopefully, at the 11th hour, he'll realize he needs to do it. There's a lot of questions and comments and concerns that the president's not winning this presidential campaign race, potentially, and that this might be the 11th hour win to put him over the edge. It's ironic because literally every broadcast news channel, business, non-business, liberal, conservative, is talking about stimulus, and he can give himself the win by doing executive orders, that $800 billion of CARES Act 1 money that's sitting around. He has the constitutional authority. It's not in Treasury. He does not need act of Congress to approve it. He could send it out $4,000 to Americans. As 100,000 new COVID-19 cases are anticipated and predicted by Scott Gottlieb, former FDA chair, today and Saturday, yesterday, yesterday, 90,000. A week ago today, I told you Wall Street was going to have a conniption fit when the COVID-19 rate went to 80,000, breaking the July record of 73,000. We're now at the highest levels daily that this pandemic has ever produced. And this amid the news as Germany goes on lockdown, France goes on lockdown, Italy's facing lockdown, and England's facing lockdown. Also, next week, stimulus and stagflation. Millions of Americans are wondering what's happening to milk, what's happening to eggs, what's happening to salad, what's happening to lettuce, what's happening to tomatoes. Suddenly everything's going through the roof. Prices are going through the roof. We're sitting back and thinking, okay, are these the places that simply are trying to recoup their losses earlier in the year by just charging a lot more money for the same thing I bought 2 weeks ago? But suddenly in the last 10 to 2 weeks, everything has literally gone through the roof. Basic things that you would buy every single day to, survive, to just put food on the table. Suddenly the prices has gone through the roof. There's no, shortage or tornado in, Costa Rica that's costing the price of tomatoes to be imported higher, or, coffee bean, or, it's always Starbucks that says something happened in in Sumatra that causes your coffee to go higher. No, nothing's happened. And just all that's happened is inflation. Well, stimulus and stagflation is the concern next week. Wall Street Tonight, as detailed on Street and Stimulus, our hit show right before this, I'll drop in the links above, featured a lot of major analysts calling for the Federal Reserve to step in and start sending out stimulus. Now, not stimulus checks, but stimulus to you, the American people, in the forms of different relief, because we can't deal with this inflation. It was about 2 months ago that I detailed on this channel that Jerome Powell, when the economy was starting to rebound from raised lockdowns were over, we're going back to work, that Jerome Powell said a little inflation is good. Well, so far the economy is stagnant, 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 flat, not moving, or getting worse, and rates, inflation, prices, cost of living is going up. That's what stagflation is. And without stimulus, stagflation could rampage an economy. It could absolutely cause a Great Depression. So Jerome Powell is under pressure tonight, which is actually really great news, from Wall Street leaders to say, no, Jerome, you need to step in and do something with stimulus right now. Jerome Powell has a lot of money, and this is really incredible, great news. Jerome Powell is head of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is not part of Congress, has nothing to do with those two people, whatever her name is or whatever his name is, has nothing to do with them. He's his own building, his own bank account, his own collections of, money, and it's there. By inherent charter of the Federal Reserve, they can do a lot of things, and they did something. In March, they allocated an enormous amount of trillions and trillions of dollars for COVID pandemic stimulus relief. I've been deeply critical of Jerome Powell because he's not used the money. Earlier today, I delivered incredible, groundbreaking, shocking, so excited news to my original viewers of this channel. This time slot was one of the original time slots of this channel. The original, sort of like the original train that was on the track. This is one of the original time slots where I would do a video on this channel. And those videos were EIDL, PPP. And guess what? Tonight, Jerome Powell came out with jaw-dropping great news. The Main Street Lending Program, which I had done a lot of videos on this channel for, viewers that needed money, needed it right now. It was stalled, it was finally announced, and when it was announced, it did not have good deal provisions. It was just bad. And so all of us were very discouraged, and we just sort of stop reporting on it. Well, today, Jerome Powell delivered the incredible great news is that you can get $100,000 as the entry-level amount for the Main Street program. This is absolutely categorically incredible because all my EIDL loan viewers who have EIDLs that won in increases and are not getting them from Jumia Carranza because they're shutting down increases in some regards, others that have applied for EIDL and can't get it higher, they're being offered 10 and 20, but they qualify for 200 or 300, they can't get them higher. And then people who had PPP but can't do PPP and EIDL, they've been under pressure as well. Well, the great news is that Jerome is offering you Main Street Lending Program at $100,000, and he says you can have that and PPP. Wow, that's incredible great news. Next week, stock market. Oh my God. And next week, lockdowns. Let me do lockdowns first before I get to stock market. The concern next week is the lockdowns. With 100,000 COVID-19 cases across the country, 15 states at 10% infection rate of its citizens, everyone expects there's going to be lockdowns. They could come faster and sooner than anyone expected. Most Americans, and probably viewers of this channel, anticipated lockdowns would come in December or, January in the thick of snow. But now, I mean, we're barely out of September. We're heading into November. Suddenly we're facing lockdowns. Yes, the ICU capacity in some of the states is not a good sign. And so the concern is, if lockdowns are issued, where is the stimulus? What's important to understand for the viewers of this channel, and this is why I've been detailing a lot, is that Congress has not been acting logically, has not been acting, or with any organization, has not been acting economically. And what we, the Purple Power, the followers of this channel, do is we try to push them to stay on subject. Where is the subject? Well, the first stimulus package was to cover you from when the pandemic hit for that initial lockdown, from March all the way up to May. We knew it was going to be a 3-month lockdown. We knew there was a pandemic. We didn't know how bad this pandemic was. There was a 3-month stimulus package, but it did have some deal provisions that went to July. They generally ended no later than July, either May or July. 3 to 4 months of stimulus package. That was the first stimulus package. It was not supposed to be anything past that. It was just supposed to be that little finite period of time. And that's why everything expires. It doesn't continue. Then the second stimulus package was supposed to start up in May or June and carry you to about early fall, like September, October. The reason why is most of the programs of it don't go that long. But as time went on and they had no deal, then they made some of the provisions to go to December. Most of the second stimulus package, which we talk about on this channel, the programs expire in December. Of course, that's one stimulus check. Yes, one stimulus check for 6 months. One stimulus check after you didn't get multiple stimulus checks the first time around. But everything else, mortgage, student aid, FPUC, all those things expire in December. Well, this is November. Are we supposed to forget what month it is? Yes. Congress wants you to forget what month you're in. And they want you to just assume, oh, there's this good thing that's coming. Well, how about the thing after that? Well, what's important to understand is come January, the second stimulus package doesn't help you. It's expired. It's expired. So there needs to be a third stimulus package ready, because while they're still haggling over the second stimulus package, it takes weeks to, 1, pass a bill into a law. 2, set up the agency to send out the money. 3, receive the money. You can't set up the third stimulus package that is to help millions of people going on lockdown in December. You can't set it up in February, 2 months after the fact. That's what Congress would love to do. They'd love to, let's just wait and see how bad it is, see how many homeless people there really are, see how much poverty there is. They won't address it in February. No. In fact, Mitch McConnell said much the same remark today and was not facetious as I just was. He literally said, we'll get to this, middle of next year. A what? Middle of next year, excuse me? You're supposed to do a stimulus package right now that gets us to like November, December. And then after that one's expired. Then you're supposed to do another one that gets us from, December to, March. Oh no, we'll just sort of figure you out, April of next year. Yeah, that's how, ironically, I pigeonhole as Mitch, but most of all Congress is acting that way right now. And that's what Wall Street is having a conniption fit about. Next week, Wall Street. Wall Street has just had it. Wall Street has had it with no stimulus currently. No stimulus. Let me explain the currently. They're pissed that the stimulus relief that you see from March and February, it's all exhausted. And the impact of that stimulus has already been felt in the economy. It is not felt in the current situation of the economy. So saying, wait a second, we need new stimulus because the new stimulus won't be impacting this economy for 2 months after people get it. So they're saying, wait a second, we need stimulus right now. Then they're also saying, okay, look at these COVID-19 cases. They're out of control. There's no stimulus ready for after this stimulus package. There's no stimulus ready as lockdowns are announced. Massive numbers of Wall Street analysts say that their clients were calling all day worried that, 1, if there's a Biden win, what does that mean for lockdown? Am I going on lockdown December? And if I go on lockdown, does that mean I can't get a stimulus? I'm not going to get stimulus? And those analysts said their clients are very worried that they did not consider between their presidential candidates which one's putting on the lockdown, which one's giving them stimulus, which ones, how much they're getting for stimulus, and basically how much relief are they getting for their, for whatever they do in their daily lives. Jim Cramer himself from CNBC tonight says, I can't even figure out what's going on. I just can't figure it out. I know we all want this election to be over, so steel yourself for a messy, confusing outcome leading to some messy, confusing action in the stock market, when, therefore, opportunities will be abound. That's what he said tonight, sort of in that voice. I'm expecting massive confusion. This is going to be a very confusing week. Actually, one of the most confusing weeks of my career. That's also what he said. Unless the results are a blowout on Tuesday, we might not know who won for days. He's referring to the election. And Wall Street hates that kind of uncertainty. And that's absolutely true. You may not know who won the House. You may not know who won the Senate. You may not know which party controls the House or controls the Senate, and which party controls the presidency. I know we all want this election to be over, so let's get it done. I think you need to buy a little bit on Monday, wait for Tuesday, buy a little more on Wednesday. Biden wins, especially if it closes, Trump concedes. Then you gotta wait for the unemployment number on Friday to buy a third trench. Worst case, you buy some on Monday. There's no bit of confusion. You haven't got a third of your money into stock market. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like he's confused. The good news is that you're confused. I'm confused, and but we aren't confused about our stimulus relief. As the country of France goes on lockdown tonight, all the way to December 31st, let's send our prayers to the people of France. As Germany prepares to go on a modified lockdown that sort of mirrors what happened in California, let's give those prayers. And as those states are now showing 10% positivity rate on COVID-19 cases, I send my deepest prayers and wishes to the viewers of this channel that you remain safe. Ultimately, I can't help you with your health, but I can help you with your financial health. And we will get our stimulus relief, we will get our stimulus packages, and we will get stimulus in our hands. It's important to stay positive because next week will be confusing, as Jim Cramer says. You have no idea what's going to happen at any day of the week. And you have no idea what's going to happen on Tuesday. You have no idea what's going to happen on Wednesday. And ultimately, I'm sure there's going to be someone who's an absolute know-it-all that jumps in the comments and says, I can tell you exactly what's happening on election night. I can tell you exactly what's happening the day after. Needless to say, fortune tellers are not essential workers. All right, let's get to some incredible questions and comments from yesterday's video. Diana, they talk about politics, how long they want. What are they waiting to give us a straight answer on what happened with us? Wes Cooper, I'm going trick-or-treating as a wicked witch of the West. No offense, Nancy. William Tinger, Zuckerberg is a Biden friend. I believe the futures do change. Thomas Felix, it's important to have different streams of income and a diversified portfolio. Corby Marushek, well, then better be talking about bigger amounts for the American people so long as they made our stuff go upside down. Well said. Vicky Lowe, the heads of state have been playing with the American people for months. Rick Phoebe, I wish someone would get into the presidency and tell them to executive orders. Victor Nunez, yes, executive orders is a blessing that the president can make it happen. Antonio Perez, we can only wait and see because then they can't be trusted. Mark McCarthy, how? No, airlines don't need no help. They got help with millions and we got pennies. Referring to last night's recording, in which the airlines are doing pretty darn well without any stimulus relief. Surprise? Because they got 28 million in the spring. Annette All. Now what? How long and how much energy? Let's get it done. Blessings, Purple Power. Love you. JS, prayers for all the struggling Americans. Prayers for everyone. Executive orders needed. Lord, help us now. I love that. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Boy, it's going to be an exciting weekend. I hope you're here with me, and we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe, because I'll have updates all weekend long. Believe me, there will be updates all weekend long by the minute. Also, like this video. Coming up next is Purple Power. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay by life for more.